Welcome to our second video in the CompTIA Cloud Plus series. In this video, we'll be going through some practice questions and answers for the CV0-002 exam, and it will cover various topics like cloud architecture and design, cloud deployment, operations, security, maintenance, and troubleshooting. This exam focuses on both the technical aspect of cloud infrastructure and the management as well as optimization of cloud services. And by covering these domains, the exam ensures that certified professionals have a well-rounded understanding of cloud technologies and can effectively design, deploy, manage, and secure cloud environments. So we're going to start off with the questions. Question 1. A cloud administrator is provisioning 5 VMs, each with a minimum of 8 GB of RAM and a varying load throughout the day. The hypervisor has only 32 GB of RAM. Which of the following features should the administrator use? A. Memory over commitment. B. Thin provision model. C. Process scheduling. D. Hyperthreading. A memory over commitment is a feature that allows a hypervisor to allocate more virtual memory to VMs than the physical memory available on the host system. A thin provision model is related to storage allocation rather than memory, so does not really apply to the scenario we have here. Process scheduling involves managing CPU resources and ensuring that processes are executed efficiently, while hyperthreading is a CPU technology that allows a single physical processor core to appear as multiple logical cores to the operating system. So with respect to the scenario we have here, we'll be going with option A, memory over commitment. Memory over commitment is based on the understanding that not all VMs will use their allocated memory simultaneously at peak levels. So the hypervisor manages the memory dynamically by ensuring that each VM gets the memory it needs as the workload fluctuates. Question 2. A company is interested in a DRP. The purpose of the plan is to recover business as soon as possible. The most effective technique is A. Archiving. B. Network clustering. C. Site mirroring. D. Active-active. Archiving involves storing copies of data for long-term retention and retrieval, and it is typically for compliance and historical references. Network clustering involves linking multiple servers or systems to work together as a single unit, thereby providing high availability and load balancing. While it can enhance performance, it does not provide the same level of disaster recovery capability. Site mirroring, on the other hand, involves the maintenance of a complete replica of critical systems and data at a secondary location, while active-active setup involves multiple systems or sites running simultaneously, sharing the load and providing redundancy. For the purpose of recovering business operations as soon as possible in a disaster recovery scenario, the most effective technique to use will be option C, site mirroring. It ensures that a secondary site is ready to take over immediately, thereby minimizing downtime and maintaining business continuity. Question 3. Which cloud security control is used to enforce authentication and authorization policies across multiple cloud services? A. IDS. B. CISSP. C. IPS. D. DLP. IDS is an intrusion detection system that monitors network activity for malicious activities or policy violations. Its role in cloud security is that it alerts administrators of potential threat, but it does not enforce authentication or authorization policies. CISSP, or Cloud Access Security Broker, provides visibility and control over cloud applications. So it does this by ensuring that all the security policies are enforced, like authentication, authorization, and data loss prevention. IPS is similar to IDS, but in this case, it takes action to prevent detected threats, while DLP, data loss prevention, is a technology that prevents sensitive data from being lost or misused by unauthorized users. So with respect to a security control that can be used to enforce authentication and authorization policies across multiple cloud services, we'll be going with option B, the Cloud Access Security Broker. It enforces security policies like authentication, authorization, and data loss prevention across multiple cloud services. Question 4. A system's application server needs to be patched. The requirements for maintenance work are as follows. System downtime is not allowed. The application server in use must be in the same patch status. System performance must be maintained during patch work. Testing after patching must be done before the application server is in use. If any trouble occurs, recover the previous version in 10 minutes. Which of the following methodologies should be selected? A. Rolling updates. B. Patching directly. C. Blue-green deployments. D. 3-staging environments. Now, for the rolling updates, this gradually updates servers one by one, thereby maintaining availability. However, it can lead to a situation where different servers are running different versions during the updates process. Patching directly, it does not guarantee no downtime, and it might not even provide a straightforward way to roll back quickly if an issue occurs. Blue-green deployment, on the other hand, involves running identical environments. One is the blue and one is the green, while the 3-staging environments involves having 3 staging environments that can help with thorough testing and quality assurance. However, it does not provide a mechanism for no downtime or seamless transition or quick rollback. So for this scenario, the best option or methodology to use will be option C, the blue-green deployments. We can see here that it has 2 environments running concurrently. One is the blue and one is the green. The blue can be the current production, while the green is the new version. So the process can work like this. So the new version, which is the green, it has the patches deployed already, while the blue version is serving traffic to users. Testing and validation is done on the green environment to ensure that everything is working fine. So once the green environment has been confirmed to be functioning properly, traffic can now be switched from the blue environment to the green environment with minimal downtime. So if any issues are discovered, traffic can quickly be switched back to the blue environment, allowing for a quick recovery to the previous version. This methodology will ensure that there is no downtime as the traffic can be switched seamlessly. Also, the application server remains consistent with the patch status, and the quick rollback capability in case of issues is also present here. Question 5. What is the primary advantage of using serverless computing in a cloud environment? A. It reduces the complexity of managing infrastructure. B. It provides complete control over server's configuration. C. It guarantees high availability without additional configurations. D. It ensures predictability and constant billing based on server uptime. Going through the options, option A, for serverless computing, it abstracts infrastructure management tasks like server provisioning and maintenance. And with this, developers can focus on writing their codes without worrying about the underlying infrastructure. Option B, the cloud provider manages the server configurations and the developers have limited control over them. This option is more relevant to a traditional infrastructure as a service or platform as a service model. For option C, it guarantees high availability without additional configurations. While serverless computing often includes high availability as a benefit, it is not guaranteed without considering other factors like dependencies and code quality. For option D, the serverless computing is typically a pay-as-you-go model, and it is billing based on the actual compute resources consumed rather than server time. So the primary advantage of using the serverless computing in a cloud environment will be option A. It reduces the complexity of managing infrastructure. Here, the serverless computing allows developers to focus more on writing their codes without worrying about the underlying infrastructure. So the cloud providers manage the server provisioning, the scaling and maintenance, and this reduces the complexity and administrative overhead associated with managing infrastructure. Question 6. A cloud administrator notices one of the servers is using the wrong set of NTP servers. The administrator needs to avoid the same issue in the future, but needs to minimize administration resources. Which of the following tools should a cloud administrator deploy to meet this requirement? A. Patching tools. B. Monitoring tools. C. Configuration tools. D. Deployment tools. Patching tools are used to automate the deployment of software updates and security patches. And while it is important to keep systems up to date, it does not address configuration management directly, such as ensuring the correct NTP server settings. Monitoring tools are used to observe the performance and health of systems, and they can alert administrators to issues like incorrect NTP settings, but they don't automatically correct such configurations. Configuration tools are used to automate and standardize the configuration of systems across the entire infrastructure, while deployment tools are used to automate the deployment of applications and infrastructure. So, in this scenario, to avoid future issues with incorrect NTP server settings and to minimize administrative resources, the best option will be option C, configuration tools. These tools will automate and enforce the correct configuration across all servers, and it will ensure consistency and reduce manual administrative tasks. Question 7. Which cloud storage type is designed to provide the highest level of durability and availability for critical data? A. Block storage. B. Object storage. C. File storage. D. Database storage. Block storage provides high performance and it is usually used for databases and applications. Object storage is designed to provide high durability and availability for critical data. File storage offers a hierarchical structure for organizing files, while database storage is used for structured data and it provides features tailored to database workloads like transaction management and indexing. So for this scenario, the storage type that will provide the highest level of durability and availability for critical data is option B, the object storage. It is highly available and durable, and it is suitable for storing large amounts of unstructured data. So this ensures data resilience through replication and redundancy across multiple locations. Question 8. A customer wants to schedule a backup job that compares and saves changes from the last full backup. Which of the following backup types should be used? A. Differential. B. Full. C. Clone. D. Incremental. A differential backup captures all the changes that have been made since the last full backup. A full backup captures all data and files in their entirety. A clone backup refers to creating an exact duplicate or replica of a system, while an incremental backup captures changes made since the last backup operation, whether it is full or incremental. Based on the question we have here, the customer wants to schedule a backup job that compares and saves changes from the last full backup. The best option to go with here is option A, the differential backup. So each time a differential backup runs, it copies all data that has changed since the last full backup, regardless of whether the previous differentials have been taken. It has a great advantage because it is faster to restore than the incremental backup, because it only requires only the last full backup and the last differential backup. Question 9. What is a characteristic of a stateless application in a cloud-native environment? A. It relies on external databases for persistent data storage. B. It maintains session information between client requests. C. It does not store client-specific data between transactions. D. It requires regular synchronization with other application instances. For this, we'll be going with option C. A characteristic of stateless application in a cloud-native environment is that it does not store client-specific data between the transactions. Each request from a client is treated independently of any other request, and this simplifies the application design and scaling in a cloud-native environment. Question 10. A cloud architect is tasked with isolating traffic between subnets in an IaaS platform. The networks should be able to statefully communicate with each other. Given this scenario, which of the following should the architect implement? A. Configure security groups. B. Configure heaps policies. C. Configure IDS policies. D. Configure a network ACL. Security groups are a feature that is provided by many cloud providers, and this acts as a virtual firewall for instances in order to control inbound and outbound traffic. HIPS policies, or host intrusion prevention systems, are designed to protect individual instances by monitoring and potentially blocking malicious activities. IDS policies are used to monitor network or systems activities for policy violations or malicious activities, while network ACLs are used to control inbound and outbound traffic at the subnet level. In this given scenario, the architect should implement option A, configuring security groups. Now remember, the security groups act as a virtual firewall for instances in order to control inbound and outbound traffic. This means that if you allow an inbound request from a particular IP or subnet, the response traffic for that request is automatically allowed regardless of outbound groups. This makes security groups ideal for managing and isolating traffic between subnets while allowing necessary communications between them. Question 11. What is the primary benefit of using microservices architecture in a cloud application? A. It increases resource utilization efficiency. B. It simplifies application deployment and management. C. It ensures high availability through redundant service instances. D. It eliminates the need for load balancing and scaling. For this, we'll be going with option B, but I'll explain the other options. For option A, increasing resource utilization. While microservices can contribute to better resource utilization by allowing more granular scaling of individual components, it is not the primary benefit. For option C, ensuring high availability through redundant service instances. High availability is an important benefit and can be achieved with microservices through redundancy and fault tolerance. However, this is more of a design choice and not the primary benefit. For option D, it eliminates the need for load balancing and scaling. Microservices architecture does not eliminate the need for load balancing and scaling. Rather, it makes it easier for these strategies to be implemented. So that's why we're going with option B. The primary benefit of using microservices architecture in a cloud environment is that it simplifies application deployment and management. So the microservices architecture breaks down a large application into smaller independent services that can be developed, deployed, and managed separately. Question 12. A company wants to leverage a SaaS provider for its back office services, and security is paramount. Which of the following solutions should the cloud engineer deploy to best meet the security requirements? A. Firewall. B. IPS/IDS. C. Proxy gateway. D. CISSP. A firewall is essential for protecting network perimeters, but it is not designed to handle the unique security challenges of cloud services and SaaS applications. An IPS/IDS solution is critical for detecting and preventing network-based attacks. However, it does not provide the controls and visibility needed for securing a SaaS application. A proxy gateway can help to control and monitor web traffic, but it does not offer the comprehensive security features needed for SaaS applications. However, the Cloud Access Security Broker provides a tailored security control and visibility for cloud applications. So we'll be going with option D. It offers visibility, compliance, data security, and threat protection for cloud applications. So this is the best solution that the cloud engineer should deploy. Question 13. A customer recently provisioned a new server on the IS. The IP address assigned from the pool resolves to another host name. Some user traffic is being dumped or is causing slowness because of this issue. Which of the following maintenance activities does the provider need to perform to prevent this issue? A. Run a script to remove stale DNS entries. B. Initiate resource reclamation. C. Use cloud provider tools to remove orphaned resources. D. Update outdated security file configurations. In this scenario, the maintenance service that the provider needs to perform to prevent this issue is option A. Running a script to remove the stale DNS entries. Stale DNS entries can cause incorrect hostname resolution, and this can lead to traffic redirection or slowness. So by running a script to remove the stale DNS entries, the cloud provider can ensure that the IP address assigned to the new server correctly resolves to the intended hostname. This will help to eliminate any performance issues or routing caused by DNS configurations. Question 14. A company security policy mandates education and training for new employees. The policy must outline acceptable use policies for SaaS applications. Given these requirements, which of the following security controls is best suited? A. Corrective. B. Detective. C. Preventive. D. Fiscal. Corrective controls are implemented to mitigate the impact of security incidents and to restore systems to normal operation after a breach. It is reactive in nature, so it does not directly address the need to establish and enforce acceptable use policies proactively. Detective controls, on the other hand, are designed to detect security incidents after they have occurred. They don't actively prevent incidents related to the SaaS application misuse. Preventive controls are designed to prevent security incidents from occurring, while physical controls are related to physical security measures like access controls, surveillance systems, and locks to protect physical assets. So with respect to this, the best security control will be option C, the preventive control. In the context of outlining acceptable use policies for SaaS applications, the preventive controls would include establishing clear and comprehensive acceptable use policies that defines the permissible use of the SaaS application. It will also include conducting education and training sessions for new employees in order to ensure that they understand and adhere to the acceptable use policies. It will also include implementing technical controls like access control and authentication mechanisms to enforce the policies, and also the use of encryption and data loss prevention mechanism to ensure that sensitive data is protected from unauthorized access or leakage through the SaaS applications. Question 15. A company changed its policies to have 7-year data retention in the public cloud. Which of the following would be the most cost-effective to meet retention requirements? A. Site mirroring. B. Automated archiving. C. Replication. D. Third-party sites. Site mirroring involves replication of data in real time to another site or location. It ensures availability, but it is more costly and it doesn't even relate to the long-term data retention needs. Automated archiving involves moving data that is no longer being actively used to a lower cost storage tier. Replication involves creating exact copies of data across different storage systems in order to ensure high availability and data redundancy. Now, it is important for business continuity, however, it doesn't address the cost-effective long-term retention requirements. Using third-party sites for data retention can involve additional cost and complexity, and this is not what we want based on the question we have. So the best option to go with is option B, automated archiving. There are public cloud providers that offer storage solutions like the Azure. They are specifically designed for long-term retention at a lower cost compared to standard storage tiers. So by setting up automated archiving policies, older data can be automatically moved to these archival storage tiers based on predefined rules or schedules. Question 16. EverlastCyber is planning to migrate from a private cloud to a public cloud. To document business continuity, which of the following should be done first? A. Develop a disaster recovery plan with partners and third parties. B. Define the set of application-based SLAs. C. Identify high availability technology to provide failover. D. Define the scope of requirements. For option A, while developing a disaster recovery plan is important, it should be based on a clear understanding of the business requirements and priorities. Defining the set of applications SLAs in option B, it is essential, but it should be based on a thorough understanding of application requirements and business priorities. Option C, identifying high availability technologies is critical for ensuring availability, but it should be guided by the specific requirements and priorities identified in the scope of requirements. Option D, define the scope of requirements. Now, before developing a detailed plan for disaster recovery or defining SLE or identifying high availability technologies, it is important to establish a clear understanding of the business requirements and objectives for the migration to the public cloud. So, with respect to the question, the first thing that should be done is option D, defining the scope of requirements. The scope of requirements will include identifying critical application and data that will be migrated, determining the performance expectations, security requirements, and compliance needs, assessing the scalability requirements and anticipated growth, as well as understanding budget constraints, and also defining the scope will help align all the subsequent planning efforts with the business goal, and it will ensure that the disaster recovery plans in option A, the SLAs in option B, and the high availability technology in option C are appropriately tailored to meet the business need in the public cloud environment. Question 17. A cloud-based web store is experiencing poor website performance and unavailability. Which of the following approaches would prevent the issue without administrator intervention? A. Install and deploy a load balancer in the front of the web server. B. Increase the computing resources to the web server. C. Partner with a cloud provider to scale the required resources as needed. D. Increase the network's bandwidth to handle the spike. For this, we'll be going with option C. Remember, the approach we want is the one that will prevent the an administrator intervention. So, partnering with a cloud provider to scale the resources as needed is the most effective approach in order to prevent poor website performance and unavailability. It leverages the scalability and elasticity features that are inherent in cloud computing, and it will ensure that the web store can dynamically adjust to varying levels of demand. And by doing so, it will also maintain optimal performance and availability automatically. Question 18. What is a characteristic of cloud bursting in a hybrid cloud environment? A. It involves migrating all services to a public cloud. B. It allows an organization to extend its private cloud resources to a public cloud during peak demand. C. It enables automatic failover between two private clouds. D. It refers to scaling down resources during low demand periods. For this, we'll be going with option B. Cloud bursting is the use of public cloud resources to handle temporary spikes in demand that exceeds the resources available in the private cloud. So, it helps to maintain the performance and availability without permanently migrating services. So that's the characteristic of cloud bursting in a hybrid cloud environment. Question 19. During peak times, users are unable to access their online wealth management applications in a timely fashion. The online banking application resides in a community cloud environment. Which of the following explains how the cloud systems administrator should start to resolve the issue? A. Access the cloud services portal and ensure memory ballooning is enabled. B. Access the cloud services portal and ensure there is adequate disk space available. C. Access the cloud services portal and ensure all users are accessing it through the same web service. D. Access the cloud services portal and ensure the ACL are set correctly for the user community. For this, we'll be going with option A. Memory ballooning is a technique that is used in virtualization environments to optimize memory usage by reclaiming unused memory from virtual machines and making it available to other virtual machines that needs it more. So by enabling memory ballooning, it can help to manage the memory resources more effectively, especially during peak times when the resource demands are high. So by ensuring that memory ballooning is enabled and properly configured, the cloud systems administrator can improve the overall performance of VMs running the online wealth management application. It will also prevent memory shortage that can lead to slowdown or delay in user access, as well as optimizing the use of available memory resources across the community cloud environments. Question 20. A new private cloud platform is being deployed by an engineer. SLA requirement states that any cluster should have a baseline redundancy sufficient to handle the failure of at least 2 hosts. The engineer records the following metrics after the deployment. Which of the following metrics is most likely to represent a violation of SLA? A. RAM utilization. B. NIC utilization. C. CPU utilization. D. Disk utilization. For this question, so we take a look at the metrics that the engineer has recorded. So here we see that there are 5 hosts and we have the metrics for the CPU utilization, RAM utilization, NIC utilization, and the disk utilization. Now the question here is, which of them represents a violation of SLA? The SLA requirement is that the cluster should have redundancy sufficient to handle the failure of at least 2 hosts. So based on the SLA requirements for redundancy and the metrics we have here, the metrics that is most likely to present a violation of SLA is option C, the CPU utilization. And I'll just do a brief explanation. High CPU utilization can impair the cluster's ability to maintain adequate redundancy during host failures, and this can lead to a potential downtime. So by monitoring and potentially optimizing the CPU utilization, it will ensure compliance with the SLA commitments for availability and performance in the private cloud platform. If we look here, so the CPU utilization of host 1 shows 90%. It indicates that the CPU resources on this host are heavily taxed. So during peak load or in the event of a failure of another host, if the workload fails over to host 1, it will not have sufficient CPU capacity to handle the additional processing demands. This can lead to a degraded performance or even failure, thereby violating the SLA requirements for redundancy. So for this, we'll be going with option C. So here we can see that when CPU utilization is high in one host, in the event of a failure of another host, if the workload fails over to that heavily taxed host, it will lead to a downtime and degraded performance. So that's why we're going with this option. This brings us to the end of the video for the CV0-002 practice questions and answers. Don't forget to like, comment and share, and also hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of our videos once they drop. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next video in this series.